You have 3 identities. And in this video, I'm gonna help you see if they're out of alignment. Your job is to bring these 3 identities into alignment. And it's very simple. It's who you are, who you know yourself to be, right? There's who you've been showing the world, right? How you operate, what you do, right? What you've shared and what's come out of you externally. And the third identity is the story that everyone around you tells themselves about you. And your goal is to get all 3 of these identities in perfect alignment. In this video, I'm going to share with you exactly how to do that with your strings. And the assignment I'm going to give you is to post on your social media. Ask everybody that's following you, right? Anyone that's following you, anyone that's watching you, anyone, or if you want to go ahead and text people, whatever. Say, hey, I'm doing an experiment. What would you say is a strength I have? Okay, that's what you're going to ask. You're going to ask people, would you say is a strength that I have? Hi, Mary. All right, welcome. So let's talk about these 3 identities real quick. I got to run because my son's got baseball practice today, so I'm already all dressed up. Anyway, so here's the 3 identities. Let me go over it again one more time. All right. Good morning, Mary. Okay, so there's who you are, who you've been showing the world, that second identity, and the stories that people tell themselves about you. That's your third identity. Let's talk about that one real quick. How many of you, actually, let me share with you. This was, I have a business group that I run, right? My goal is to teach other people in this group how to share what they sell in a way that gets other people buying, right? Like your coaching or your network marketing products or whatever. And we had a meeting last night and we went through a training on finding your target market, your target audience. And we really went over this like details, like here, this is what your target audience is. This is what their problems are. We need to create content and marketing to attract that audience and make offers that make sense to that audience. And someone in the group said that they posted something on their social media page. I think it was Facebook. And they got nasty comments from someone they know. And this is what I told them. I said, everyone you know right now, everyone you know, everyone that you've ever known, they all have a story about you. This is what we do as human beings. We try to lock people down into categories so we can just not have to think about it. and ultimately what it does is it locks people down in our minds and we don't give them room to grow. So when they grow or they change or they do things differently, we get frustrated because we were telling a story about them. And then when they violate the rules of that story, we get uncomfortable. That's how it works. So when you try to put something on social media or you try to do something that's suddenly different, right? Guaranteed, the people around you are going to get uncomfortable. At first, they'll try to ignore like it's not happening. So if you suddenly post something about your business on social media, this is why they're not going to comment. Because that's weird. You're doing something weird. You're being weird. And they'll label you as inauthentic. Or, what was the other one? The person said last night. I can't remember what she said. But the bottom line is that she violated the rule of the identity that this person has for her. Right? So let me ask you this. If you were to do something that represents who you are inside, purely who you are inside, and you were to do something and put it out there, would the people who know you, or have never known you, or people that follow you on social media, would they become uncomfortable because you're doing something that's so contradictory, right, to who they have told themselves about you? Do you understand? If the majority of them would find it uncomfortable because you would be so in like complete disalignment with the story they've been telling themselves about you, then the person who you are, right, with your strengths, is not in alignment with the person you've been putting out. And that little bit of difference in that alignment means that there's a massive difference, a massive misalignment with the story people have been telling you. My goal has always been, and this is my goal to you, and this is the challenge I'm going to give you today, right, is to get the person who I am inside to perfectly align with the person I've been putting out to be, and get that in alignment perfectly with the story that people around me are telling about me. About 8 years ago, I first started doing videos on Facebook every day. Maybe it was 9 years ago. Anyway, it's a while. And I remember I went to go visit my family. And my aunt, who I hadn't seen in years, who's the nicest person on the planet. Don't get me wrong. This is not a negative thing I'm about to share with you. Hey, Jay. Hey, Joey. Hello, Melody. Good morning. Think about this, ladies. So for those of you that are here right now, I'm just going to do a quick summary. I'm talking about the 3 identities, who you are, who you've been putting out to the world, and the stories that people tell themselves about you. Are those 3 identities in alignment? So I went to go see my family. This is my dad's brother's wife, okay? And hi, Amy, good morning. And at that point, I had been doing Facebook videos for a little while. And she called me. And by the way, this is not an aunt who I interact with that much. And again, she's the nicest person on the planet. This is no fault to her. But she literally called me Mr. Facebook. This is what she called me. This is like 8 years ago. She called me Eddie, Mr. Facebook. Now, I want you to think about this. Was she complimenting me? Was she complimenting me? I don't know if she was complimenting me. I really don't. But let's think about this for a second. When you call someone Mr. Facebook, are you trying to get them, do you feel like you're trying to get them to go, yeah, you're right, I am Mr. Facebook, yeah, woo! Or was she expressing maybe, potentially, a slight discomfort with the fact that her nephew is on Facebook every day doing videos? Right? So I knew right then and there that the person who I was inside, who I was trying to be outside, right, was out of alignment from the story that she was telling herself about me. Here's my challenge to you. Here's your assignment, okay? My challenge to you for the rest of your life, every day, is to get the person that's inside of you, who you are, to be in perfect alignment with who you're putting out, sharing it with the world. And then get that in alignment with the stories that people are telling about you. Yeah, of course it's going to be out of alignment. I'm not saying do this. This is not about doing this for them. FYI, low harmony people, don't worry. You're not doing this for them. It's not about doing this for other people. This is about doing this for you. Because if you can genuinely, with everything you have, be who you are inside, and make that in perfect, precise alignment with who you're being outside, and then help the people around you tell the right story about you. If you could get to that point, I promise you bliss. I promise you happiness. I promise you joy. I promise you results. That's what I promise you. I freaking guarantee it. You know, one of the things I've learned over the years is that when I'm doing my best to be myself, and I'm doing my best to lay that out there, and even educate the people around me who I am, they oftentimes become very uncomfortable. Because most people don't like when you're not honoring their rules. For me, it's like, hold fast. Because if you think I'm breaking your rules now, I'm going to break more. I'm never going to stop breaking your rules. Because they're your rules. They're not mine. I don't roll that way. Right? So I know how my strengths work. And so I know how my strengths work. My goal is to help you understand how yours work. And if you can understand how your strengths work, then there's no argument anymore. The identities align. The identities are in alignment. I know who you are. I know what you do. And I'm cool with it. Whatever. Okay? Does that make sense? So here's my challenge to you right now, for those of you that are watching this. Test the waters. Let's see how much in alignment that who you are inside is with the stories that people around you are telling. Here's what I want you to do. Post on social media or message someone you know, or maybe someone you haven't seen in a while, and say, hey, I'm conducting an experiment. And then you can say, hey, we haven't seen each other in a while, or you know me pretty well, whatever. And then say, hey, what would you say are one of my strengths? That's all. Let them know you're conducting an experiment. If the conversation of strengths comes up, let the conversation of strengths come up. Totally cool. Have fun with that. But what you're looking for is how much in alignment are the stories that people are telling about you with who you are inside, with your actual strengths. That's my challenge to you. Do this today. And then if there's even the slightest bit of misalignment, or they're missing something, maybe you haven't shown them enough. And maybe you haven't shown them enough, because if you haven't shown them enough, then maybe you haven't believed it enough. Maybe you haven't owned it enough. And if you haven't owned it enough, then you got work to do. You go back to your strengths and ask yourself, how can I be this every day for the people around me? If I can be this every day with these strengths every day for the people around me, their story about me will shift. It's not about whether or not they like you. It's not about whether or not they want to work with you. That's not what this is about. This is not even about them. This is about you committing to who you are at such a high level that that's the story that people tell around you. Right? So, my friends, for those of you who are watching me right now, I'll tell you the greatest compliment I've ever received from a person, and I've received this compliment often. The compliment has been, Eddie, I followed you on videos or on social media for a long time. Now that I met you, you are exactly who you are exactly in the same person in person that you are online. You are exactly the same person in person as you are online. So those of you that ever met me in person, would you say that's true? That's because if you say that that's true, that's because I've worked hard, real hard, to stay true to who I am with my strengths for a long time now. And I've been working for 2018 was when I got my strengths. That was January, right? So it's been 6 years. 6 years. There's 2 years before that where I was doing videos online, but I didn't know my strengths. So essentially, I've been trying to be my best self for 8 years online, right? 8 years, y'all. That's a long time to be trying to be myself, to change or get the stories that people have told about me in alignment. And so this is why I get unfriended. Just FYI, everybody, I get unfriended weekly. I know I get unfriended because I go on Facebook only allows you 5,000 friends, right? And so I'll go and I'll check my friend requests. There's usually about 150 to 200 waiting. And then I'll go and I'll pick, 5 or 6 people, whatever. And I'll get my friends list up to 4,995. That's it. And then every week I'll just look and see. And usually I've been unfriended by about roughly 5 to 10 people. And what that tells me is that they've realized that who I am is not right for them. That tells me that they're telling a story about them, about me, right? That's not in alignment with them. And I couldn't be more grateful. Thank you. You've made room. You've made room for more people to try out the identity. If it suits you, great. If it doesn't, great. That's up to you. My friends, I want you all to be so committed to who you are and committed to the value that it brings to other people, that the person who you are inside is in perfect alignment with who you are being outside. And then you help people tell the right story about you. That's my challenge to you. Help people tell the right story about you. Every day. God created you for a reason. Go be that reason. The good news is He also gave you the joy of being that person. That's fun. That's fun. All right, I'm going to head out to take my son to baseball practice. I'm going to see you all later. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Share this video with anyone that you feel could benefit from it. Maybe somebody who's not quite being themselves when they're marketing their products or their business. Maybe somebody who's not quite being themselves with their family, right? Maybe someone who's not quite being themselves with the communities and the groups that they belong to. Maybe someone who just needs the reminder that they're enough just by being who they are. Final message here, go get your strengths. If you haven't taken your strengths assessment, come to me. It's $63 that Gallup charges for you to take the assessment. I can take $10 off of that for you. Just message me and say, hey, I want to take my strengths. I want to take my strengths assessment. I want to get my strengths and I want to live those strengths. If you've taken it like 4, 5 to 10 years ago and you want to take it again, message me. I'll get you that discount and the instructions. I'll even give you some advice on how to take it again. If you run a group, a community, a program, or a business, and you want to get many codes, many strengths assessment codes at a discounted rate for your groups or business and so on, just message me and tell me how many codes you have or how many codes you need. Somebody just messaged me yesterday who needed 10. So I gave them, they basically got $100 off, right? Buying codes for 10 people for their group. Just message me. Have an awesome day, my friends. We'll see you on the next video.